Okay. Welcome to Think Tech Hawaii, where we're raising public awareness on technology, energy, globalism, and diversification. Today's program is Asia in Review, and I'm your host, Elisa Akazawa. And my guest today is Yujing Shentu, a VASI Fellow at Pacific Forum CSIS. Welcome, Yujing.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Of course. So can you tell me a little bit about your background? First of all, how did you end up in Hawaii?
Wow, that's a very good question. Hawaii is a paradise city. I come from Paradise City in China.
Oh, okay.
So,
what city in China are you from?
Hangzhou. Yeah, Hangzhou is very close to Shanghai. So just jump on the faster train, 1.5 hours, you got there. So I think I need to go to some good place with good people and put my brain work there. So that's the reason I came here. And first I went to the Asia Pacific Leadership Program with East West Center.
And how did you enjoy that program? I hear really great things about it.
Yeah, it's very nice program, and you got a lot of opportunity to meet the people from different countries, and they have their own expertise and cultural background. So that's the reason we travel a lot. We even got the opportunity to went to Washington D.C.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we visited Central Illinois.
Oh, okay.
I sit right close with him, and he talk a lot, and
that must have been an amazing opportunity to get to meet him.
Yeah, definitely, and also a lot of other people. So I think it's a very unique experience. Of course, we have high expectation. I give my best wishes to the program, and the next generation of APLP is coming. And one of my Tibetan friends is also will be the next generation of APLP.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I think I'm quite lucky. Then I got the professor's introduction and to the program of the Political Science Department at UH Manoa.
Okay, and is that where you're doing your graduate work right now, the Political Science Department at UH?
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm striving to get my PhD degree done. So that's the reason. I got another lucky key. I got opportunity to come to Pacific Forum, CSIS, and have this VC fellowship. I'm really grateful for all of this support from the staff and the co-workers, also the fellows.
And there are quite a few fellows at Pacific Forum. So for your PhD dissertation, what are you writing on? What topic are you looking at?
Oh, thank you for your interest about this. Because my background is international relations, and Chinese domestic policy really influenced a lot about this foreign diplomatic policy transition. So that's the reason bring me to think about what if the Chinese domestic situation get better and the power of the people get channels to the civil society properly, and you see the anti-Japanese government protests happened recently, and you see the people's frustration, not directly targeted to the Japanese government, not mention the Japanese people. It's kind of like a reflection of domestic turmoils, of unemployment, environment situations, all kind of complex situation there.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm quite engaged in write something about this broad topic about civil society, and we'll link it with the philanthropy project or foundation, how they influence the policy change, including the Chinese foreign diplomatic policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you researching at Pacific Forum?
Wow. That's really a big challenge for me. And Pacific Forum, I want to link it with my personal interest about the regional cooperation. Since I came to US, what I want to know is more about the possibility for the young generation could engage into the future. I don't want to say it's an Asian century, but I definitely want to say it's a young generation century. And like our president, Ralph Kosa, he have done for all these young generations, give the opportunities and guide the people to think about what they could contribute or engage themselves. So that's the reason I want to talk a little bit about my research project. It's about shale gas and the U.S.-China cooperation.
And that will be the focus of our program today. We're going to be talking about U.S.-China cooperation on shale gas, so that fits neatly into your research area.
Yes. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, of course,
yeah.
of course. So what specifically are you researching on? What aspects of cooperation are you looking at?
I specifically want to put this into the details about how the Chinese foundations, for example, Chinese Energy Association Foundation, or the Chinese entrepreneurs, how they personally or grouply put the efforts into this cooperation, like to push this cooperation and into the reality. Because a lot, I know, according to my research, a lot U.S. companies and the Chinese companies now are working in the forefront, working together to see how they can deal with this big challenge from this energy and climate change. Yeah.
So in discussing shale gas in general in China, what are the issues surrounding that, first of all? So is China looking to acquire shale gas domestically for domestic consumption? Is it looking to acquire shale gas to export it internationally? What's going on there?
For now, for this stage, I think China's demand for the energy is increasing these recent years, and they want to acquire some, not really acquire, it's kind of investment, overseas investment in maybe North America market, because the U.S. got a brilliant achievement in the shale gas revolution. So Chinese need the know-how, not the experts. So back to Chinese domestic market, see whether we can work on that area, because that's natural gas, the largest reserve in China, and we can see if any opportunity can exploit these untouched reserves. Yeah.
So the picture I guess you're painting here is that China is sitting on one of the world's, or is it the world's largest shale gas reserve?
Yes.
And what it's looking to get from the U.S. is knowledge, technology. That's where that future cooperation might lie.
Yes, and also it will bring the people together and work on this technology issue. Also, I think the most important is the geopolitical issue, because if China can work on this and solve this energy demand issue, will help for the whole global climate change, like smoothly working out some resolutions, because right now we have increasing global interest in this issue, climate issue. Yeah.
Okay. So what we hear about a lot regarding China, at least in the U.S. media, is that the Chinese population is growing, that we have many millions of people entering the middle class, and with the middle class lifestyles comes demand for energy intensive products. People want, home appliances, they want cell phones, they want laptops, and all of that really increases the demand for energy in China. Is that what the energy picture in China is looking like? Is there a greater demand because of these reasons, or are there other reasons as well?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the reasons, but the whole reason, I mean, there I can put it in macro level and micro level.
Okay.
I think macro level is related to the whole global change. Like you see, we have industrialization things in the developing countries. For these developed countries, especially in the East Asia, South Asia, we definitely see all the business and factories there, and they need a lot this kind of fuel. The demand for the fuels, for the energy is increasing there. So that's the basic reason. I think it's because of industrialization. And second reason will definitely be the globalization. See, that's two catchphrase. It's like globalization means like we have a lot of opportunity can go. For example, like me, I travel here and I will take the faster train, right? Faster train take 1.5 hours. Means transportation need a lot of fuels to lift the speed.
Okay.
Yeah, and also we travel a lot by the airline. See, I can travel from here back to China and direct flights, and in I think like 10 hours, something like that. So to really increasing this kind of demand. And of course, the one you mentioned about is this, when the people get rich, they won't have the modern life.
Yes.
Yeah, they won't have the car, they won't have the air conditioners, everything. But yeah, I think that's not most important, but that's kind of you cannot avoid these questions. Yeah, and also I think another the strategic reasons, because for the how to say that you have such a large country and a large population, you need to think about the strategic reserve some energy, and because China definitely need to have good energy policy. So that's the reason they go abroad, and all these national oil companies, they go abroad, see whether they can secure the supplies of the energy. And
Okay.
yeah.
So where is China currently getting its energy from now? Does it use a mix of different types of energy?
Yes.
Is it mostly domestic? Is it mostly international? Where does China get its energy from?
I think it's quite mixed, because China basically themselves also, let me give you some figures there. Because
Sure.
we have electricity, right? We have electricity, we will use the hydroelectricity.
Okay.
You see, we have the Three
Three Gorges Dam.
Yeah, we have Three Gorges Dam. That's the biggest one, but we have a lot of this kind of dam built around, so to support part of the electricity needs for the people
Sure.
who live in the city, the urbanization, but also, the village also, they have a lot of this agriculture modernization there. So all you need is this electricity. Electricity really is a big consumption for the people. And I think the coal, that's what I want to mention here. China's environment problem largely because of the heavy dependence on the coal, because China has a lot coal reserves. So that's the reason, you would firstly use your own. So
Sure.
we have a lot of mines, and the people go to get this coal, and to do this as major energy resources. But this cause a lot environment problem. Yeah.
So on that note of environmental problems, what's the, I guess, general sense domestically in China about the issues surrounding how clean some of these energy sources are? Is there a big environmental movement in China? Is there much awareness about these issues?
I could say there's more awareness. People have this conscious about what happened like 10 years ago or 20 years ago during our childhood. What's the change? It's very obviously everyone can tell. So far people have all kind of organization, non-government organization, organized organization. So that's the way they try to contribute, see whether they can do more.
So are we talking about NGOs that are specifically looking at remedying environmental issues?
And also, I think a lot big companies, national, state companies, also they have more, social enterprise responsibility awareness.
Okay.
So they will give a lot help and support.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think people working on that.
So some of the big energy firms, there are, I guess, embarking on a policy of corporate social responsibility in China.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, but still need to work on, because now it's still, like you said, it's not a big movement yet. Yeah, well, not like Germany. They have the Green Party. Yeah.
So in addition to coal, what other energy sources are there?
Yes, and the natural gas.
Natural
gas is directly linked with the shale gas, what we talk today. Shale gas is one kind of natural gas, and which is untapped in China so far. China was the fourth largest global consumer of the natural gas. So that answer your question. We have a lot import from overseas, and we have some other. We have some own oil and natural gas reserve in China. So that's kind of combination together. But the demand and the social need increasing. So we still need to find other resources to fulfill this demand. That's the reason we have the nuclear plants.
Okay.
Yeah, we all know since Japan, the earthquake, and in the society we do have the concerns about the security. issue about nuclear power plant. And most of the nuclear power plant, you know, the technical difficulties. It would be easier put around the coastal area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
but for how about the inland? Inland, they do need the energy for this electricity, everything. So for that part, nuclear doesn't really suitable. And nuclear need a lot of investments. Yeah, it's not like a short-term tools, like measures you can use in nuclear. Nuclear power plant is kind of long-term vision thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Also renewable energy, that's
Is that gaining a lot of momentum in China? Are a lot of people looking at renewable energy sources?
Yes, yeah. So we heard about a lot about solar energy, wind energy. So people really actually looking forward to the new resolutions. I think during the 2011 APEC time, I personally witnessed the governor, our Hawaii state governor, and signed this agreement with the Chinese delegations.
I see.
Yeah, for this new renewable energy resources.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Honolulu have a lot, like wind. Yeah, yeah. So I think it's very exciting for the people who can work together. Yeah.
So in China, there really is a mix of all of these different types of energy sources.
Yes.
And now we're looking at shale gas. And I know that you're not a technical expert on energy.
Yeah, not yet.
You're more policy oriented. But can you explain to me a little bit about how shale gas is extracted? Is that something that you'd be able to address?
Yeah, shale gas is, you know, we have, how to say that, let me give you explain the term there. It's the shale gas.
I know that the term that we use in the US is fracking. So is that the same?
It's kind of natural gas, and it's untapped in the shale formations. So it's very difficult when you have to exploit it. It's used a lot of water to do the fracking thing. So China is a country, you know, we have the serious water problem.
Yes.
So that's quite a challenge for us to think about this shale gas. Is that, you know, how to find the way to avoid the possible severe water pollution if this fracking technology being followed or being channeled into China. Yeah, but it's mostly important. That's the reason I think the U.S. government and the companies can work with Chinese government and the companies to see whether find a good, how to say that, good technology and know-hows, and specifically target at Chinese shale gas exploitation, because it's a little bit different with the Texas. Because
with the taxes?
Yeah, Texas, a lot of companies have oil companies or energy companies from US, the famous ones are in there. And I think the geographical things is different.
I see.
Yeah, for China, we have the desert, we have the Sichuan province. You heard about Sichuan province?
Sure.
The earthquake, right? That place have, according to the reports, statistics shows they have a reserve for the shale gas.
Okay.
But you see, it's very dangerous if you, go
So the geography presents challenges in how the gas will be extracted.
Yes.
So one of the concerns that's really come to the fore in the U.S. is about fracking. What about Chinese public opinion on that? Are people against acquiring shale gas or extracting shale gas because of fracking? Or is that something that you haven't yet seen in China?
To be frankly, shale gas is still quite new to most the common people, even to the Chinese enterprises,
Okay.
like small or middle-sized enterprises. It's still quite a new catchphrase. They don't really know, but I think that's the reason we need the know-how, we need the hand-on experience from the American companies, or we have the specific experts together. They have the expertise, then can make the people aware about these difficulties, the challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned small and medium-sized enterprises.
Yeah.
Are they the ones who are leading this shale gas acquisition in China? Or, because I imagine that the technology to do this would be very expensive, and that might be something you would associate with larger firms or with state-owned enterprises.
Yeah, that's the different issue because for the small and the medium-sized enterprises, they definitely have this interest to invest on this future, big future. But in China, the situation right now is like, the state-owned enterprises, they have more opportunities to invest on this big market. And for the U.S. Side too, because the small and medium-sized company, because of the financial crisis and your cash flow, and for this kind of overseas investment, you need big cash flows, and you need to prepare all the budget you send this team of the experts. So it's quite difficult for these small, medium-sized enterprises. But that's what these two governments are working on that, because that's part
of these two governments, meaning the U.S. government and the Chinese government?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they started to open this door for the medium and small and medium-sized enterprises from two countries. Because actually, this shale gas revolution started from the small and medium-sized enterprises in U.S., not from the multinational companies.
Okay.
Yeah. So this company have this hand-on experience and have this applicable knowledge and.
So they know how to go in the beginning and get it done.
Yeah, they have equipment because they are the pioneers. But what they lack is like the connections, the knowledge about the overseas market, especially China is quite complex, so different regulations. For the Chinese side too, because the state-owned organizations or companies, they already have so many other stuff there, and now I don't think they are quite excited to start to do this too much, because it still have a lot of dangerous risks there. So the second round auction from the central state government, they open to these small and medium-sized enterprises in China.
I see.
Yeah, so if the U.S. companies, small and medium-sized company, can join Chinese small and medium-sized companies, they definitely can work together.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So regarding U.S.-China cooperation, you've mentioned that there has been some government-to-government talks as well as company-to-company talks. Going forward, is that how you think that the U.S. and China can best cooperate, or do you think it's best if both governments oversee all aspects of cooperation, or is it better if companies just work together for cooperation?
I think personally, it will be government always serve for this business sphere, and their contribution would be support this kind of investment, give the bank room, and offers policy help, and that's what they can do. And the majority task still, I think, is because of the company or the foundation or associations. I think they can do better job together. Yeah.
So how would you respond to people who might be uncomfortable with the idea of U.S. and China partnering on energy? I imagine that there must be some critics of this idea. How do you respond and let people know that you think it's a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I don't see people really have very good reason to object to this idea, because we all look forward to the good technology and a good solution. And if China work on this by themselves, I think it will take a long time. And for the enterprises, they now already started to go global strategy. So I don't see any reason they stop them to ask help or ask the cooperation from companies or U.S. government. Yeah. So
I think that there might be people in the U.S. who are uncomfortable with the idea of a partnership with China. I know that China is looking for a peaceful rise, but many people in the United States do not perceive China as peacefully rising and feel very threatened. How would you respond to arguments like that?
Thank you for asking me this. I would have brought it too. I think it's, how to say that, like Britain, like U.S. before 100 years ago, it becomes the focus of the of everyone talk about this kind of, issues, you will facing this. China will have to face this, yeah. And the thing is,
and I'm gonna pause you right there because I believe that Jay Fidel would also like to jump into the conversation at this point. Jay, what do you got for us?
I want to tell you about two things. One is a program we're doing on May 23rd. We're doing a program at the Plaza Club on May 23rd, and it's going to be all about housing in Hawaii. This is going to be a fabulous program, and in fact, it's being covered in the news already. What are we going to do for housing? We have a panel of 6 housing developers and players in the housing industry, a lot of them in Kaka'ako, but some elsewhere, and collectively they're going to be building, billions of dollars of housing here in Hawaii starting in the next few months. We have Kamehameha Schools, we have Howard Hughes Corporation, we have all the big ones there. It's going to be moderated by Harry Saunders. He's the president of Castle and Cook Hawaii. They're also a housing developer. And we'll have some economic remarks from your friend Paul Brubaker, who is an economist and also a provocateur. He makes very interesting remarks. So anyway, this is May 23rd, Thursday, next week at the Plaza Club. If you want to sign up, want to come down to that, hvca.org. You can be joined by a lot of people. It's going to be a crowded one, so sign up early. I hope to see you there, Elise.
Will do. I will be there. I will be at this program. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, thanks very much. Back to you.
All right. So continuing.
Oh yeah, I think that's the question you need to face and to explain, and that's the reason I really personally I think cooperation give very good opportunity for the people who have different opinion about what happened in the world when they cooperate on one project, which this project bring a lot benefits. So during this process, I think people can solve this, I think, misunderstanding, mistrust. And
mistrust between the United States and China.
Yeah, there's something I think happened there, and I personally felt like that's kind of misunderstanding. And before I come, we always thought about a different image about America.
So before you came to the U.S., you had a very different image of what the U.S. was like.
For example, U.S. politics, especially, it'll be different than when you stay and study and work and you understand more and what's the democratic system working out here. And the same thing, if the U.S. enterprises can have this opportunity, can grab this opportunity and go to China, and I think they will work out better than me personally, because they have a group of experts. They get to know a lot different policies and different markets. I think it will be exciting for them to understand what really happened in Chinese markets. Yeah.
So what about being here in the U.S. has really changed your perception? Have there been any major revelations for you?
Yeah, of course. Like I got a lot opportunity to follow the brain power. Yeah, from my school, from the Pacific Forum, from the people I met here, and I have more. How to say that? I have I've become more optimistic about U.S. and China cooperation, because if you only read the paper from the media and you didn't really get the whole picture of the story, and you can only get the small corner. Wherever you stay, you can maybe just read some Chinese media or maybe some American media. But now we can travel here, and because of this big cooperation between U.S. and China already happened there. Not just in the shale gas. So that's the reason I think it can convince the people to cooperate together in the trade area, in culture, in education. Yeah.
So prior to coming to the United States to live and work and study, were you pessimistic about U.S.-Chinese cooperation on these issues?
Not really, but somehow because of a lot of things happened before, like you see the Chinese have this kind of conflict between conflict idea between this U.S. is leading country in the world,
Okay.
and U.S. is like have this financial crisis and terrorist attack, all kind of complex picture. For the people haven't been to this country, you didn't really understand what happened there, why this leading country have so many troubles, right? And the same thing if my American schoolmates or co-workers or friends, if they never been to China, they don't understand why China have the air pollutions and why Chinese people, so loud or something like that, right? I mean, when you go to the place, then you understand more because you really practically to do this something.
Sure.
And you associate with the people. Yeah. So I think it's not for this personal level thing. It's most important for the country, for the business level. The most important, I think, is the business level. They are always the enterprises. They always work before and in the forefront. Yeah.
Okay. So you think that by having more of these types of exchanges, or people from the U.S. going to China and people from China coming to the U.S., that will really help to address some of these concerns that people might have about partnering on things like shale gas?
Yeah, definitely. I think this kind of exchange is very good and work out for Asia Pacific century. That's what I want to say. I don't want to say that's Asia century, but I want to say it's Asia Pacific
century.
or the global century. That's what would be better. That help us to understand why China needs so many fuels. Yeah, we need to expedite the flight and come to visit US and your people too. Right? Welcome to China.
So you mentioned that China is also looking at investing overseas.
Yes.
In shale gas. Where is China looking at? Is it just the U.S. or are they looking at other areas as well?
Yeah, it's depend on different resources need. I think for the shale gas, definitely North America, because Canada and America is working in forefront. And but for other resources, I think they have this go global strategy, and the Chinese company need to diversify their investments. So they went to Africa, I think, and also I think many countries have done that, like South Korea, and to secure this crude oil.
So one of the issues that has been raised with this kind of global strategy, people are alarmed and concerned that this is a resource grab on China's part, and that it puts people in these other countries, for example, African countries where Chinese companies are buying energy rights and water rights and land rights, that people in those countries are sort of getting the short end of the stick and that they're put in a difficult place. How do Chinese people see that, or how do people that you know in China see that? Do they see it as, a resource grab, or are they thinking about this more from a strategic perspective?
To be frankly, I personally think there's some misunderstanding there. The first, I think, is because of the concern about to meet the demand of these factories and business operation need, and also the social needs. That's the reason when the domestic production and the market cannot meet this demand and social needs. That's the reason drive these companies or the government to support them to go to Africa or go global. Something misunderstanding is like the cultural differences. When the Chinese company go abroad, sometimes they only bring their own stuff to Africa, and they didn't really aware the importance of the cultural differences.
So when you say bring their own stuff, what kind of stuff are we talking about? Are we talking about
like a working labor?
Got it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like losing the balance for the local people, and you didn't really create the jobs for the local people.
So if Chinese companies are only bringing in Chinese labor, then local economies don't get the benefits of having Chinese investment there.
Yeah, but I think the most important is the environmental factor, because when we go abroad, if we go to Africa, and I think the people there, they also need a lot cooperation with the Chinese company. But if they can work together better to protect the environment, and that will, I think, will smooth the between these, different companies, different countries, because people don't want you come here and get resources and you leave all this behind to us, and how we can deal with this, right? For this short-term vision thing. So I think Chinese company or enterprises, entrepreneurs, they started to understand about this part. I think this take a little bit time for them to invest more and on the environment protection. Yeah, that's the reason I think we, especially the Chinese company, it's good for them to come to invest in North America too, because the company here already have experience and a lot of technology, and the procedures to protect the environment. So I think they can learn a lot of procedures and know-hows, and when they go other places, and they will copy or follow this. Sorry, I use the copy. Yeah. Sometimes I think, why not? We copy every time, right?
So when we're talking about Chinese investment in North American energy resources, what specifically is meant by the term investment? Does that mean they're buying land? Does that mean they're buying technology? Does that mean they're acquiring stakes in companies? What does that really mean?
I think for the energy resources area, for now, the Chinese company go abroad, they only acquire the stakehold. They still need to invest more and send more experts to get the technology, learn the technology, and to know the know-how. So for now, it's still in the very beginning stage. Yeah, so it's not really. So that's the reason I want to say need to have more cooperation between the two countries, and we'll start to this kind of flow smoothly. Yeah.
So one of the things that I had mentioned was public opinion and how there might be some concerns in the United States, and I imagine there might be concerns in China as well from the domestic public. Does that? Do Chinese citizens have concerns about partnering with the U.S.? Is the U.S. seen as a competitor?
Chinese part, we always look forward to have more technology, and of course we need to encourage our own innovative achievements. And but always welcome for these companies, experts come to China and help to protect the environment, because for the U.S. part, you have a lot of concerns. See whether we'll copy, really steal away the technology or something like that. Yeah.
Was that something that surprised you, being in the U.S., U.S. perceptions toward China and how people might be uncomfortable with the idea of closer partnership? Were you surprised by that when you came here? Or is that something that you knew happened from when you were still living in China?
Yeah, definitely sometimes you feel like a surprise. Yeah, you never imagined the people will have this kind of image or perception. That's the reason I bring up this cooperation opportunity. I think for the shale gas, people have this opportunity to work out of this kind of perception, especially for a geopolitical area. That's most important. For you see the PPT and all this kind of pivot or rebalancing, or China's become more assertive, aggressive, all these kind of things. But when we talk more and I get a lot of opportunity associated with the experts, I think they know China better, or the Chinese experts, they know America better. They never really hold some personal opinion against this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in your conversations with experts, they don't tend to hold these same sort of fearful views of a cooperative relationship?
No, I think they know better, and they know what's going on there, and that's the reason I think the shale gas project is, a lot of people have this expertise on this. They really encourage the governments working together and the companies work on this out and see whether these energy resources could be really tapped on from China's reserves. Yeah.
So what are the barriers to closer or greater U.S.-China cooperation on shale gas, and I guess other issues as well? Is it just a matter of time? Do companies and the government just need more time to work together and solidify their relationship? Or are there other barriers that are preventing closer cooperation?
I think there's a lot of barriers for you to do something, some cooperation projects. For the shale gas project, you have geology barriers for this shale gas project for the cooperation is because these difficulties for the companies working together to get this investment, huge investment in the Chinese shale gas reserves. But the return in the very beginning will not be that fruitful. So that will definitely make the companies have these concerns. And also the environmental issue will be the biggest one. And because the water issue is this shale gas revolution really concerned about this. Because when you get this tapped out, this shale gas tapped out, you will see whether you have enough water resources secured there. But China, unfortunately, because these basins, they all close to the north part and China, and it's kind of, sometimes it's like a desert or the mountain areas. It's very difficult to certain.
So in the northern region of China, it's
Yes.
drier, and in the southern regions,
Yes.
their water is more plentiful.
Not necessarily. It depends on different area.
Okay.
So we have scattered reserves, but the geology difficulties there. So that I think is the major barriers when investment. But
So are the water resources not located necessarily near shale
Yeah.
gas deposits?
yes, like
Okay.
Tarim Basin, that's the one have this large reserve there, but it's a desert. So, and also another, how to say that, another realistic barrier is like for the companies, for the oil companies, you will talk about the pipe. So pipe networks, when you cannot certain how you tapped out this shale gas, you don't want, it's like a chicken and egg first, this kind of thing. You don't want to invest too much to put all this pipe work out. So because it's a large investment.
I see.
That's the reason, that's the barrier for the small and the medium-sized enterprises.
The upfront investment costs are so high.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the reason we needed to government work together and open the door for the small and medium-sized companies, because then they can have a lot of opportunities and policy favorite.
So a public-private partnership.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think they encourage the small, medium-sized enterprises. They get give some policy support.
Okay.
Yeah, and the bank loan. Yeah, so that's the reason I thought like the cooperation project is quite optimistic for the both sides.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about the benefits that will that China will get. What about benefits that U.S. companies can see from closer cooperation with China?
Yes, that's a very good question, because all these barriers we talk about there already. I think it's like when U.S. companies have this huge overseas market, because the Chinese company need know-how, need the technologies, how you can bridge the gap between, because of these big barriers. And the trade perspective definitely will offer the very good term returns. The problem is the barriers because of this environmental issue and geology, and also all this requirement for these capitals. For the U.S. government, if they work together, they can have more opportunity to get the Chinese companies investment here, like send the technicians come here to learn the technology and work on the field works, and that's increase the employment or jobs opportunities here too.
Okay.
And also, I think when the time is mature, the company can go to China, right? Then I think it will help China to avoid a lot of environmental concerns or technological difficulties, and to help the shale gas project come out smoothly, and we'll have a lot of profit for both sides. I think both sides will have the employment opportunities for a lot of graduate students like me. Yeah. And I think I personally optimistic about this opportunity for U.S. Side, and U.S. government have pushed this, promoted this cooperation. There's some forum about shale gas projects, and a lot of experts started to talk and exchange the views with each other. That's a very good sign and beginning for these two sides. Yeah.
Okay. So does China have similar arrangements with other countries besides the U.S.?
Yeah, like Canada. I think Canada have a lot opportunities for the Chinese companies too, and they started to invest in Canada's company. I think the U.S. government also still have the concerns about the technology and international cooperation thing, because the rules, the control still quite strict. Yeah, so I think the concerns is understandable, but we'll see it's workoutable. Yeah.
So do you think that there will be closer cooperation in 5 to 10 years' time, or do you think that closer cooperation will happen even sooner between the U.S. and China?
I think it's already cooperate very well together and started to have signed some drilling contracts, and it's not just the exchange from the government. I think the companies already started this exchange or investment, open the investment standard. So just take a little bit time to work out more commercial production. Yeah.
Okay. So explain to me a little bit more about what you would like to see happening. So is the ideal goal in closer cooperation that Chinese and U.S. companies have greater profit opportunities and that there's a diplomatic end to this? Are you looking at just closer U.S.-China ties in general? Is that what you would like to see come from an initiative like this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think from the trade perspective and geopolitical perspective, it's both win-win situation for the government and the company. And I think the trade perspective, I'm not the experts. I think the companies, they will definitely get very good profit if the project cooperate well. For the geopolitical perspective, I think it will really help to bridge the gap between the two governments on different issues like environmental issues. They can work on a lot policy and establish a lot project together and exchange a high-level officials exchange, and that will help China to avoid to have the image like more assertive or self-centered, this kind of bad image for the Chinese recent actions, because the East China Sea and the South China Sea dispute is really escalated sometimes.
So this would be a really positive way for China to, I guess, enhance its image throughout the world to counter some of the sort of negative things that are happening.
Yeah, I think it's definitely for China. It will really, that's what they want. We want the cooperation. We want to secure the energy resources, but no one wants to escalate the conflicts. You still need to go back to the negotiation table and find out the resolutions. And the U.S. is playing the leading role in this political arena. I think the leadership is help this cooperation on this Asia-Pacific region. So, for example, for the China have a lot cooperation with the South China Sea countries, ASEAN countries. I thought we just attended this conference, the workshop for ASEAN.
On ASEAN, yes.
Yes. So I think it's very good for the Chinese working with the American government and to do the project together and avoid the mistrust because of this rebalance policy or pivot, because that kind of isolated feel being contained. Yeah.
So if I understand you correctly, the U.S. rebalance to Asia, the pivot to Asia, that's seen as containment for Chinese?
I think a lot of media.
A lot of media portray it that way.
Yeah,
okay.
They will interpret it that way. But I think like the people already involved in this kind of project cooperation, they already understand what really happened, and for the trade perspective, influenced by this, they keep on and work together and find the resolution, and not just do the lip service. Yeah. So I think it's a very good opportunity for both countries and China have the large reserve, but lack of the technology and the know-how, and the U.S. have the shale gas revolution already, and your government is very active in promote this shale gas revolution, and also the cooperation between the two countries. It will give us a broad picture.
Yeah. So how would you respond to arguments specifically about if the U.S. engages in closer cooperation for China? Sure, that might be a good thing for now, but does that present a security risk for us in the future if U.S. companies share all this information and technology with Chinese companies? What are the long-term security implications for that?
Okay, good question, because actually shale gas project is kind of different, because the geology differences. What Chinese company need to do is they come here and learn know-how, but for these technology things, they cannot take every kind of applicable equipment to China's land because it's different geology. You still need to do some innovative technology achievement on your own. You need to invest on this innovative technology study or research. But the thing is, I think since U.S. already achieved such a high level revolutionary for the shale gas. You have a lot of technology and know-how, and the people work together, overcome another difficulties, challenges for shale gas in different area. And definitely the concerns for this technology thing will be the potential risk for the national security. See, that's the reason I think the project encourage for the cooperation. The first thing is losing the control of this technology export. That's answered your previous question. When you export certain technology, and it will guarantee a lot profit and employment opportunities. National security, I think if China cannot get the opportunity to cooperate with these top leading countries, which have already had this successful technology achievement, where China should go to. I mean, I think take a long time for a country like China to learn the lesson, because we already have this air pollution. And I think the environment issue is a global issue.
Yes.
Yeah, it's global security. So compare with that, I think national risk is very difficult to define, because global risks also is national risks,
yes,
right?
Of course.
Yeah, it's not military, it's not that sensitive, it's not like defense issue, it's not like defense technology. It's like help the country who have the larger population, who have the largest reserve of this untapped shale gas, but who don't know how to proceed to get this out and to in a relative safe and environment protect context. So yeah.
So if China is able to develop all of its own internal technologies and really acquire the shale gas in its borders,
yeah.
What are the implications of that for China? Does that mean that China will be able to meet all of its energy needs in the coming years? Would that really enhance the supply of energy available to China?
Yeah, it will really help China to meet the high skyrocketing the demand for the energy or social needs, and will actually decrease the global concerns for the global strategy of the Chinese company go to the Africa or get the resources. I mean, China going to exploit their own reserves and concern on their own environment problems, because that's what we need to face and need to resolve it. So U.S. actually playing the leading role again in this project in different perspective, in trade perspective, in technology perspective, in environment perspective. So it will be really a win-win situation in my personal view.
And I imagine if China is able to meet all of the energy needs for its growing industries, that would also have a positive impact for the U.S. economy and for the global economy as well, if China can meet its energy demand.
Yeah, I mean, China always want to be independent on technology innovative achievements, but it takes time. So when we can use certain cooperation projects and to buy the technology, I'm thinking this is a very good cooperation project. I mean, you will transfer out the advanced technology, and also China can help investment on the innovative technology on this specific team on the shale gas project. So we'll see how to update the technology.
All right. Well, that has been a really great discussion. Thank you so much to Yujing Shentu, a Vasey Fellow at Pacific Forum CSS, for sharing your thoughts on U.S.-China cooperation on shale gas. It's a really informative program, so thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I really, like your questions.
Oh, thank you. And thanks again to Jay Fidel for having us here today. This has been Asia in Review. I am your host, Elisa Akazawa. We look forward to seeing you in our next program. Thank you.